Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. You know it. It's 3 a.m. on the dot here in Connecticut on the East Coast. If it's this early, right, 3 a.m. on the dot, I have a story that I really wanted to talk about today, and I couldn't wait to get out here and share it with you guys. And that's the truth. I have a lot. I don't want to laugh and make fun of this story. I think there's a bigger picture. I'm not going to poke fun at this story. I'm not going to go the usual route and make fun of this of size here. I think there's really something more important to talk about, and I'll get to that in a second. For this video, I really want to share this with people, as many people as possible, because like I said, I'm trying to go the higher route, the high road on this, and I'm going to refer to this. It's about a store. I'm going to refer to it as an adult store, and the story involves a clerk in this store, this adult store, and it involves a couple. And the star of this whole story is an object. I'll call it a device or an aid. Okay, so the links will be down below, so you probably already have a picture of what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm going to try to take the high road on this, and I have so much I could talk on this subject. I want to share with you guys. Okay, here's the story. This was in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at Christie's Toy Shop. Now, a lot of times, I've done this many times before. Not recently, since I've been clean and sober, but actually, yes, I have done it since I've been clean and sober. And a couple went shot. I just replayed the whole thing in my head. Wow. Okay, this couple goes in to do some shopping at the adult store. And apparently, this is the story. So this involved a man, David DeWitt, and apparently he's a policeman. He claims to be a policeman, and he's in there with his wife doing some adult shopping, let's just say. And his wife picks up something that was apparently larger than him. Okay, and he took offense to that. And this is what the story's about. So apparently, he actually raised his hand to his wife and said that she was embarrassing him, that she picked something out at the store bigger than him, and it took away his masculinity. So he raised his hand to her, apparently, which is something I find is the most appalling part of this whole story. Like I said before, a real man never ever lays a finger on a woman, regardless of what happens. And that's why this story's not funny. But the clerk jumps in, gets in the middle of this, which is always a very bad, not a bad idea, but it's a surefire recipe to get in the middle of an altercation. And the clerk gets in the middle of this, and the man, David DeWitt, says "F you, I'm a cop." So you better back off. Let me abuse my wife, I guess. And so they're going to walk out of the store. I guess they purchased it. And then the clerk goes and says, "Would you like any batteries with that?" And I don't know if he was being serious. I think I like this clerk already, because it sounds like he was kind of poking a little fun at the guy. And that's where the policeman, David DeWitt, kind of lost it. And he said, this is David DeWitt, the cop, says, "F you, what did you say to me, fat boy?" So, see, when he addresses this clerk as fat boy, I'm thinking, what goes through my head right away is that he's making fun of this person's physical size. And he's already feeling a lack of confidence because his wife picked out something that was supposedly, it's all about size in this guy's head and the way somebody looks physically. He's insecure. That's what I see when he calls this clerk fat boy. And then plus, he's already mad at his wife because she picked out an object that was supposedly bigger than him. In this guy's head, he's very insecure. He's very worried. He has a lot of anxiety about how he is perceived. And I've talked about this in other videos. A real alpha man, a true man, is who he is. And as long as you like yourself, it doesn't matter. You have to like yourself before anybody else will like you. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to love yourself before anybody else will love you. And that's the whole point here. And when you have insecurity like this, that's the thing here. Another thing, this is something I've come to realize, and it's just made me feel more relaxed and more comfortable in my skin. There's always going to be somebody richer than you. There's always going to be somebody smarter than you. There's always going to be somebody more intelligent than you. There's always going to be somebody bigger than you. You know, and you have to just be confident in who you are, and that confidence is extremely. This is what I found in my 57 years. That confidence is what matters above size, above anything else, above super abilities in the bedroom. Confidence is the most sexy, attractive thing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, because I have gone to adult stores, and I just talked in a video, and I I probably said a little more than I should have. And I said how on the first date, this is just the first woman I dated being clean and sober, the one before Audrey, how we went we went shopping in the vegetable aisle before our first encounter. And that's the truth. And I'm not going to tell you guys what we picked out, but it was big. And we went back to her place. And this is the first date. And she made sure she was hygienic. She made sure she washed the vegetables before she made the salad. Let's try to keep this clean. You know, she made sure it was nice and clean and everything. And see, when to me, this is all about fantasy and the woman's sexuality. You know, it never occurred to me that I would be actually jealous of a piece of a vegetable or of a aid or a device. You know, I'm looking at the woman and I'm seeing her express her sexuality, and to me, that's a turn on. You know, that's a huge turn on. The woman is sexual, and she has desire, you know, and that just that fires me up, man. So that's the point here, you know, and this guy's missing the whole point. He makes it about him and his security and his insecurities. You know, he's worried. He doesn't want her to pick anything out that's bigger than him. So what's the freaking point? What's the freaking point of any of it? I feel sorry for this woman. And then on top of that, he actually raises his hand to her. Like I said, and a real man will never do that. I was going to make fun. You know, I was going to poke fun. One thing I found is a lot of guys would come on here and say, you know, I've heard a lot of guys brag, you know, about, you know, they're big this or big that. And, no, I don't want to go that route. I think this is really more about confidence. And it's kind of ironic because of what I'm going to lead into here. I actually had I've talked before about how girls talk or women talk. And I dated this one woman back in my 20s, and we broke up. You know, I lived with her for a while. We broke up, and then I started dating her friend, or her best friend. And there was a lot of animosity and bad feelings there, you know, from the first girl I dated. And the second girl that I dated came up to me and she talked to me. She said, "I just got off the phone with so-and-so." And she said, "Yeah, we talked about your package." And I was like, "Oh, great. You know, what'd you get? You know, what do you mean you talked about?" And she said, "You know, she said, your old girlfriend said that, yes, you do have a big package, but you don't know how to use it." You know, so she insulted me. And I took that to heart. It didn't necessarily bother me. You know, really in my heart, I thought it was just sour grapes, you know, because I had moved on and I was dating her best friend, and she, you know, she needed to say something bad about me. And that's how I took it. And that's confidence. You know, people are going to say what they're going to say. I wasn't mad at the first girl. I wasn't going to say anything bad about her. I just, you know, I'm confident in myself, and I think it was just sour grapes. But I did pay more attention to technique. The most important thing is I think the most important thing about what I've learned above my own satisfaction is giving satisfaction to the other person, seeing the other person have pleasure. That, to me, that is the most gratifying thing to me, above my own gratification. I'll say this too, like I dated the first woman when I was clean and sober, and she had a drawer. And I was kind of shocked by this. Not by the size of the object in there, but by the number of them. And, you know, I got used to it. I just looked at her. It kind of turned me on in the end. It was her sexuality. But she had a drawer, and she opened it up. You know, this is the same one that we went shopping for vegetables. And she took something out that very first or second date after the first date, and subsequently I actually started staying over there, staying over on nights and stuff, and she would pull out. I never looked in that drawer. You know, she left the house. She left that drawer unlocked. You know, I would stay there. I'd sleep. You know, she'd go to work, and I'd be in the house alone, and I would never peek in that drawer because part of me just didn't really want to know what was in there. I was kind of scared to tell you the truth, because she just kept pulling out one thing after the next. You know, I mean, there was the first one and then the second one, and then there was a device for another area, and then another device, and I don't know. I think there was I counted at least 6 devices. I guess all different shapes, sizes, and uses, and I just think it was great. It's the woman's sexuality. And I think that to me, to some guys that are, I think to guys that are secure, a woman, watching a woman enjoy herself and her sexuality, I think is a huge turn on if you're secure in yourself. And which Mr. David DeWitt, I don't think was. I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about here. I'm sure there's so much more I could talk about this subject. Let's see how the views go, because believe me, I have some more stories about the stores themselves, about the devices, about the women, and me, some other stories. So let's see how the views go. I'll be back later with another video. You guys, the links are down below. You guys have a good Saturday.